Hey folks, it's time for a little Friday fireside chat with Dennis. I just noticed my vacuum cleaner's in the picture. It's a damn good vacuum cleaner. You know I run a tight ship here. Today I'm going to do a reading from a book. It's a book called Still With Us, and I know the author. That's my good friend. Can you see it? Probably backwards. Lena Hellman. It sounds German because it is German. I first met Lena when we were at a AFSP meeting, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and we had something in common. Unfortunately, we both lost a sibling to suicide. In my case, two. In her case, one, her sister Danielle. And if you ever see her posts on Facebook, they are heart-wrenching, what she went through. She wrote a book. She asked a bunch of her friends to write a book for siblings. It's called Still With Us, and it's Voices of Sibling Suicide Loss Survivors. That is a tongue twister. Sibling Suicide Loss Survivors. And today I'm going to read you what I wrote. That's right, I'm an author. I submitted something to Lena on her behalf, on my behalf. She asked, I said yes. She's an awesome person. I said, sure, I can do it. And then I didn't do it. This is the passive aggressive side of me. I was in a really foul mood when this all went down. I was going through some own personal struggles. I was in a small apartment. I was going through a divorce, and it will show in this reading where I was. And this is why journaling is very good, by the way. If you ever write down something, you go back to it. Journaling is very good for your mental health. You can go back at some chapters and go, woo, boy, was I in a mood that day. And when I wrote this, woo, boy, was I in a mood that day. But let's take a look at it. It's called Three Brothers, Two Suicides, One Survivor by Dennis Gillen. This guy. Phone rings, life changes. Happens to the best of us. It was after work on Monday, July 18th, 1994, when the phone rang in my home in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I was home waiting for my ex-wife to come home from work when I got the word that my little brother Matthew was gone. In a drunken stupor with access to lethal means, gone. I remember sitting on the couch waiting for my wife, ex-wife, and thinking to myself, we already did this. We already did this. You see, 11 years earlier, I received a similar phone call telling me that my older brother, Mark, lost his battle to depression. Two brothers. Let me decode the last paragraph for you. My name is Dennis Gillen, and I have lost two brothers to suicide. It hurts to type it, and for years, I cannot even say the word suicide without crying. Now, I am a mental health advocate and speak about suicide prevention. There, that's it. I'm done. Take care. See you later. Good luck with your grief. I truly wish I could stop there, but that would defeat the purpose of helping others, which is what this journey is all about and what this book is all about. Helping others who are on this path and trying to help others avoid this route altogether. I can't leave you like this because this journey has not been easy, and I want to make yours easier. So let's unpack the two very different reactions I had to the losses of Mark, 1983, and Matthew, 1994. I am one of 5 kids, born to our parents. Now that I look at that sentence, doy, who else were you born to? I'm one of 5 kids. Mark was the second oldest child, I was the middle child, and Matthew was the youngest. 5, Sheila, Mark, Dennis, Janice, Matthew. When Mark died, I was a junior at West Virginia University. I went home for the funeral Thursday, and I was back on campus by Tuesday. In and out, no time for feelings, and when I got back to campus, I started drinking heavily. I was drinking already because the minimum age for alcohol back then was 18, and as a 20-year-old, I took full advantage of it. Looking back, this is a common occurrence for people dealing with trauma, self-medication. In retrospect, I would seriously counsel against this. I went to a prayer group like twice. I had access in student services and counseling. I just didn't go. I just blew this good stuff off. I had some positive places to go. I chose not to use them. I now know what positive coping skills look like for me, and I know what negative coping skills look like for me. Drinking excessive amounts of alcohol, that's a negative coping skill, for sure. I truly thought I could self-medicate my pain away. Wrong. Everybody is recovering from something, and drugs and alcohol do not have a place in recovery in any type of grief. You gotta love technology. You could hear people in the hallway, you hear my phone. We're plowing ahead. Now here's why alcohol and drugs should be pushed to the side as you recover from your loss. While I was drinking at a high level, no pun intended, my younger brother, Matthew, was drinking while grieving at a whole nother level. 11 years earlier, we lost Mark. 11 years after we lost Mark, we lost Matt in a drunken stupor with access to lethal means. In a drunken stupor with access to lethal means. Matt was gone. Insert every curse word you know right here. I still cannot believe that after Mark died, we let Matthew slip past our fingers. It's just different when it's your younger brother. I should have been looking out for him, but I was too busy in my own little bubble. I get that you must take care of yourself, but keep your head on a swivel and try to look out for others that may be in a downward spiral. My head was not all right, so how could I possibly look out for others? Man, I try not to beat myself up too badly about this loss. Easier type than done. But I know that having lost someone to suicide, that's a risk factor. We now know that's a risk factor. So when we lost Mark, we all were at risk in the Gillens. I just wish I knew it back then. Reminder, these are my thoughts and feelings as I get older. I am often reminded that they could be wrong. I still have these feelings from time to time, and I have to remind myself to cut myself a break. I didn't do what my brothers did, and I may not have been able to stop any of this. But here we are. Here we fucking are. Sorry, I wrote that. See where I was that day? Curse word included. Life after Matthew was brutal because I did not, I can read this, I wrote it. Life after Matthew was brutal because I did not numb the pain with anything. I got hammered the night of his funeral, but did not touch a drop after that. Done. I was too depressed, and alcohol is a depressant. I decided to take a time out, and I'm happy to report that I am still sober after all these years. Yay me. But the lesson here is for you. Attack your loss with a sober mind, please. I cannot stress this point hard enough. I always thought that when I was better, I would go back to partying and drinking, when I was happy again. But somewhere along the way, I fell in love with sobriety, and that's okay with me. I like not drinking alcohol. Who knows what they say? Who knows what they say behind my back? I like not drinking alcohol. Here's the funny line. I like not drinking alcohol, and so does everyone around me. At least that's what they tell me. Who knows what they say behind my back? But when they need a ride home from the bar, who's their buddy? Me. There is a side story worth telling here and involves my faith or lack thereof. After burying my second brother to suicide, I was sort of pissed at God. And who can blame me? I had just buried my second brother to suicide, and I was not a happy camper on top of this. No, I had just buried my second brother to suicide, and I was not a happy camper. On top of this, my then wife and I were having trouble conceiving. The doctors were working on her thyroid gland, and after they were done with her, they were going to turn their attention to me. And I did not want to go through that exam. So one night in our guest bathroom, I remember this. One night in our guest bathroom, I was in the hallway at our house in Carlisle. I shook my fist at the sky and told God I did not care what he wanted. This is what I want, and I want a baby right now. I also made a deal. I said, if he granted me this wish, I would never go back to drinking again. A deal is a deal. And I got my son Martin. And God got me sober. I needed to be sober after this trauma, and I took it one step further. I went and saw a counselor, a mental health professional. I should have done this after losing my first brother. I highly recommend to any and all listening to me to go see a professional, especially after the loss of a loved one to suicide. So if you're keeping score, professional counseling and sobriety is kicking the crap out of drinking and drugs when it comes to recovery. You're going to have to trust me on this one. The end. Those were the wise words I wrote for anyone who's struggling for Lena's book. There it is. Still with us. Those are the words I wrote. She edited it. Thank you for that, Lena. And I thought it was important that I shared it with you because today is July 17th, 2020. And tomorrow is July 18th. Good at math. And tomorrow is Matthew's anniversary of his death. I don't want anyone to go through this, and we had to go through it twice. So please, take these words to heart. If you're self-medicating, stop. If you're thinking about suicide, get help. And if you ever need someone to come speak about it, find me. But it took me years to get here. And to Mark and Matthew, I miss you both with all my heart. And I'll see you again one day. Thanks for listening. That was my submission. I'm a published author now. More to come, by the way. I am writing a book, but it's brutal, and it's tough sledding. So don't put it on your reading list for 2020. It's going to be a while. Love you guys. Take care. Have a good day.